Hello, Gabriel Lake.
Hey, Gabriel, Jose.
Where are we today?
We are sheltering in home, and today we found out we get to do this for 28 more days, 29 more days.
The fun never ends. I can hear that you're really excited, but that's a different conversation that we can just left for a later time. So, what did we watch today, and why did we watch this movie?
We watched a movie called Terribly Happy, a Danish movie that's not by Lars von Trier. Um, it felt very weird. It felt like I was cheating on my lover.
So, wait a second, was it Danish or Swedish?
Isn't it Danish?
I thought that it was Swedish, but you may be right.
I'm pretty sure it's.
Denmark. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Huh, okay.
For this podcast, we try and watch a lot of new movies. Sometimes we like to watch ones that we've seen. And so I remember seeing this. I think I may have seen it at Sundance, but maybe I'm wrong. I saw it when it came out, when it was in theaters. And I remember it being exceptional. 2 episodes ago, I made you watch an absolute clusterfuck of a Scandinavian film. And I wanted to make up for that by watching a really good one. I remember this being an excellent movie, and I was hoping that 24-year-old Blake wasn't insane.
Okay. So, should I start with it?
Go to town.
Okay. So, the movie was released in 2008. Did you watch it around that time?
Yeah, it must have been 2008, 2009.
Gotcha. Just as a brief synopsis, I mean, this is a pretty like classic noir movie. Is that basically this cop that is this? I mean, he's not really discharged, but you know that he did something at the beginning. You don't know exactly what, but he's giving a second chance, moving to this rural Denmark, small city. No, like I mean, I don't know if it's like rural. I don't know exactly what they do for a living because it's village in the middle of nowhere. Let's just
Yeah,
say.
it's definitely rural. I mean, it's just like a podunk town of maybe 100.
Yeah. So he starts like just he comes from the perspective of just I'm going to be staying here for a while, but not too long because my idea is going back to Copenhagen. Uh, as the movie progresses, is that we have like the classic elements of film noir. We have the femme fatale, we have broken characters, we have the loss of hope, basically about like there is a place that there is no hope about like just going back anywhere else. Is that they're just trapped there. For example, the femme fatale, that I don't know if it actually qualifies 100% as a femme fatale or just a stupid person. She is also from another part, from another like rural area. I don't know if it's like a real, is Algraband, I think that was the name of the area.
Yeah, I actually Googled it to see if that was a real town. It is.
Yeah, it is. I also Googled it, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But it doesn't look like something like really, really large. So that woman also belongs that she's not part of the community. She doesn't feel like she belongs to it. And there is a bit of a, I don't know, like discomfort kind of feeling. Overall, I like the movie. I think that is well shot. It builds up like the suspense. But I also think that there are some parts of it that they cross a line. You know, it's like it's true that everyone that lives in the city they feel pretty shady or pretty weird. Like the store manager that is like, oh no, you don't have to reprimand the king that he was trying to stall. You have to hit him. That's the only way that he will learn. And he said that's just wrong. And we can see like how the moral compass of the policeman, the main character, start like just derailing a bit. How from the beginning he's like, no, I will never do that. That's against my code of conduct. And he ends up like doing everything. So the twist on this movie, and here's where we go like completely into spoilers, is that he not purposefully he kills that woman, the femme fatale, quote unquote, while he's
Who's married
trying,
to a really, really violent, dangerous man.
yeah, to a white beater. So everything from that point, it becomes almost like a different kind of movie. At the beginning, is almost feels. I was thinking about Hot Fuzz at the beginning. It has a bit of that from the perspective. I actually wanted to check when Hot Fuzz was released because it was released earlier than that. Just saying. But it also has the kind of premise of someone that comes from the big city to a small city and how he adapts to the quaint, weird characters from the city.
But I mean, I see what you're saying, but I don't think he was like an innocent, moral guy at all. I think he was used to portraying something because that's what expected of him, but then he just kind of slowly exposes who he really is as a person, which is
Yeah,
a bad person.
yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, there is no point on this movie. Maybe at the beginning, in the first 10, 20 minutes, you may cheer for the main character, but it's like afterwards, is that you have the feeling that is that the main character is as evil as the most evil person that you're going to be seeing on the screen.
yeah, they're all shitty people.
Yeah. We don't know exactly what is the extent of shittiness of some of the people, but like given the ending, there is oh yeah, the whole time we knew that you were the person that killed the woman, but we wanted to get rid of both of them because they have like a bad vibe for the city. So they were going to be like just going with that. It's like that like they're going to be like just punishing Jordan. I think like the wife beater. They were going to be like just punishing that guy because he has like a bad vibe to the city. No, because like hey, this guy supposedly killed his wife.
You don't think so? I think they actually wanted to kill the wife killer.
I thought so at the beginning, until the end when they said like, oh no, we knew that you were the one that killed her, that killed her.
Oh no, but I think they found that out later. I think initially everyone thought he was the killer.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, with that last sentence, it completely threw me off, the last scene. Because I was thinking that no, they were going to be like just killing him because they assume, as everyone else, that he was doing that. Maybe they got to the same conclusion as Jordan because of the scene on the bar when he is like, why would you, what makes you think that he killed his wife instead of being like cardiac arrest? And he defended the wife beater like so vehemently, so I don't know, like blindfolded about like no, he didn't do it. When he was like clearly another victim, well, not another victim, but he was clearly not innocent. But he was like just going out of his way for saying like no, he didn't do it. It
So
was a
was
cardiac
it
arrest.
an
I
interesting
mean,
journey for you? Did you
uh,
like it?
I like it. I think that there are some points that it crosses a line. You know, I mean, I found hilarious when he was pointing the gun to the cat, but at the same time, it's like I don't think that this is actually like proper character development until they actually discover it's like he actually pointed a gun to the wife, to his ex-wife, and his
Yeah,
ex-wife's lover. Yeah.
because he's a psychopath and he was just exposing himself.
Yep. Yep. So
Uh,
I thought that it was good. I liked it, but as I told you, is that there are like some points that it crosses the line from being smart into just almost being like a absurd comedy. There are like very, very few stops, few steps, and it's not like a flying kick on memories of murder. There are like some things
God
about
damn
like
you, Bong Joon-ho.
yeah, it was a bit more like okay, you're crossing a line here for just making it like just a different genre. Not about like just keeping me on my feet, but a bit more like this feels like Hot Fuzz.
So for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, please don't think that you will like laugh out loud. It's not like a shitty
No.
British comedy.
You did not. Because now I know what we're going to be watching next.
To be honest, I don't think I've seen Hot Fuzz, but I've seen movies that director has done, and I was like, no, this is not for me.
So you didn't like Song of the Dead?
Um, did it remind you at all? No, that's the one I saw, and I hated it. I can't stand that guy. I think it's just
I
such,
hope that you say Simon Pegg and not Nick Frost.
I don't know, the red-haired one.
Okay, that's Simon Pegg.
Is that the good one or the bad one? They're both mediocre.
Yeah, they're both mediocre, but one of them is like a cute chubby, no, like chubby bear. But that's Nick Frost.
Um, yeah, so I definitely think this is a black comedy. It's like the blackest of comedies. So I didn't see a genre switch. but I do see your point. But for me, it was like a very, very dark Scandinavian take on like a David Lynch movie, except he doesn't pretend. He doesn't start out with the shiny suburban, everything's fine.
Yeah.
He's just like, let's get right into the shit, and everybody is shit.
Yeah, it certainly reminded me of Blue Velvet a couple of times.
Yeah, yeah, same for me. It also reminded me of a far less pretentious The White Ribbon.
Uh, okay. Mm, far less pretentious, but at the same time, like far less accomplished. The atmosphere that is building up, I don't think that it can be compared with the White Ribbon. There is this kind of anxiety, this kind of, I don't know, you don't feel comfortable watching the White Ribbon. With this movie, I was feeling like,
And do you feel comfortable, Rich, watching this?
I didn't feel comfortable or uncomfortable. I felt like, sure,
So for you, it
whatever.
didn't like there wasn't like a sense of menace that was built on and built on and built on.
No, only at the end, when the neighbors upstairs, they actually say like, we knew all of it. That it almost feels like you are just a puppet. Is that they knew all about you from the beginning. Is that you were just at their post. They could have done whatever they wanted with you, and they basically drove you to this point. Is that they have manipulated you for just doing this. That you can almost say that maybe they did the same thing with the woman, and they drove her to him. It partially reminded me at that point of Delicatessen. There is they're doing like something atrocious, but they're doing it all together as a community. So it's fine.
And that's why it reminded me of The White Ribbon, is this community and their bond is the horrific things that they all do.
Yeah, but the thing that is pretty disturbing about the White Ribbon is that the people that they're doing the something terrific is the kids. It's like actually the community is scared of how we cannot change this. It's that we are just the slaves of the kids. What we're going to be like doing is like just sending the kids away from the village. Is like no, they are our kids. We cannot change that behavior. In this case, it's like the grown ups. But it's like even some parts of it is like I agree with you. It's like is David Lynch Twin Peaks or Blue Velvet like the girl, the Dorothy? What's her name? Dorothy?
Dorothy, yeah.
Dorothy, that when her mother is getting beaten, she just leaves the house with a stroller, completely by herself, and just walks around the city. Is that's Twin Peaks like?
Yeah, that's true.
So I like it. I mean, it's true that there are parts of it that is black comedy, and it's not about like laughing out loud. It's not Hot Fuzz or Song of the Dead or anything like that. It's a bit more of a. They're so subtle, like those details, those like jokes that almost feel like, what is it doing here? That it makes me feel
You really
like,
felt like it didn't fit? See, that's funny because that was exactly my complaint about Memories of Murder. For me,
yeah.
that just didn't work in the slightest, and for you, this worked for me, and it didn't work
But
for you.
but the thing is like in Memories of Murder, they were completely overt. You know what I mean? It's like just completely over the top. It's like someone just hitting someone else with a flying kick. It's like, look, this wouldn't happen. It's like it's so over the top that it's getting me out of a bit, but it's like a bit more like just keeping me on my feet. And in this, they were so subtle that for me they didn't work as well. I'm not saying that they were bad. It actually made me
No, I get it.
think. It made me think actually of Headhunters. Not saying that this is as bad. Not saying that this is as bad. But it made me think
You're
about
just gonna
like
bring
those.
that up every chance you get.
I am, but it's like it made me think a bit about like this belonged a bit more on Headhunters than here. Because actually the part of film noir, it reminded me of film noir classics. It's like you
Oh
have
yeah,
all the elements. It's like it
it's
almost feel like the guy was like checking by the manual about like for making a film noir, I need to do A, B, and C.
it's like that and a spaghetti western. I think. I mean, that guy even walks around with a bolo tie. You know,
Yeah, the guy that actually I spent like the whole movie saying like, who's this guy? It sounds like pretty familiar. It looks like pretty familiar. Did you watch Killing Eve?
I watched a couple episodes.
He's the handler
Oh
of
yeah,
the killer. Yeah,
yeah. You're right.
Nikita was her name. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think that the cast was pretty good. Everyone did like a really
Did
good
you like
job.
that the main guy,
Yeah, I did.
the cop?
I th- yeah, I think that he did like a okay job. I mean, it's more like, for example, we're discussing about Headhunters that we say like the reveal was like okay, but it was a gimmick. Was like really far fetched into okay, he was the CEO of this company, he's trying to take over this company. Is it sure, whatever. You don't care about the reveal, but this reveal about him being crazy, or being like unstable, emotionally unstable, is more effective. I think that it works like significantly better here, and the acting actually supports that reveal. It doesn't feel like, well, the movie's telling me that, so I'm going to believe it. It's like, no, from the beginning, you know that there is something off about the main character when he's doing the calls and there is the answering machine recordings and he stays there and then he hangs up. It's like all the manner is good. So I think that he does a good job.
How many children do you think he had?
One?
Okay. I
Why?
felt like it was super clear that he had one child, but the New York Times movie review talks about him having children that won't speak to him. And I was like, did they not actually watch the movie? Because sometimes, they just read early scripts and review the scripts. And I'm like,
Oh,
I don't know that they watched this one.
I have no idea. I mean, clearly in the movie they only call Josephine, I think that is the name, and
Mhm.
especially when they call her by her name, it's like I don't think that he will have like a hidden children.
The only thing I can think of is the answering machine said, this is the home of blah, Josephine and Squeaky, but that was clearly the name of a dog or something. So I don't,
Yeah, or whatever the teddy bear.
yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I don't know. No, I didn't think too much when she actually mentioned about the squeaky part. I was like, sure, that may be a toy. This is not that important because otherwise he will actually be showing other pictures. But in all the pictures that they show is basically the daughter or the
It's
daughter
just
and
one girl.
yeah, one girl or the mother, him and the daughter. Did you like the scene where he's while the supervisor or whatever, the other policeman comes to his house and he's just stepping on the blood?
I fucking loved it. That scene was so great. I was like, I felt so nervous they were going to discover him. Well, I had seen the movie, so I know they didn't, but I remember being like, when the blood was coming through the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like it lasted a bit too long, and especially the acting there, I felt like that's a bit cringe-worthy because the guy was like just looking up and down, like just keeping the other guy, the policeman was like just looking down, like, oh, is there something coming out? And then the policeman, the supervisor was like just looking up. He's like, oh, what are you looking at? He's like, no, he's looking at the ground. He's like, if you actually just step up, he's like, you're going to be seeing blood. So what was the story?
And
Sorry.
I liked it very good.
So what was the story with the bicycle shop guy? Basically, he was the nephew of the supervisor that he sent there, and he got killed.
Well, he said that, so Hjorgen's sister lived in, I can't remember the name of the town, Tongan or something like that. The town
Yeah,
over that's a bit more serious that has a police force.
yeah,
And he broke some laws to help her out because her son was in trouble. And I got the impression he was screwing her. And so he broke some laws to help them out. And I actually really like that conversation because he's supposed to come in and be like the guy that has an actual moral compass. And then he's like, oh, so maybe we can fudge some records and make this go away.
yeah. Everyone is like so broken there. There is no morality or no principles in any character.
Yeah, the only difference is how much of that you just actually own and show versus the police characters in this that are trying to hide it.
But I don't think that anyone really owns it. Because even the quack, the doctor, he doesn't own anything of what he
I
does.
think so. Like when they tried to force Jorgen to walk into the bog, they could have done that very secretively and not talked about it, but they did it. They weren't ashamed when the policemen discovered they were doing it. This how we do things here.
Sure, yeah. I mean, about that specific part about like just the murder, sure. But when he's like getting completely high with his own stuff, with his own drives, I just felt like, Well, this is basically just portrayed that everyone is broken here.
Everyone is broken in Scandinavia.
I mean, not in Headhunters. If you are 5'6", you can still be successful. That's what I learned.
It's enough.
It's enough. 5'6" is enough. So overall, I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked it. I thought that it was a good movie.
I think it was a very good movie. I
Okay.
liked it a lot. It worked for me 100%.
100%. Well, so what worked for you?
What worked for me?
Yeah.
No, I think it was incredible at building atmosphere. I've said this many times, the sense and dread, and watching him kind of morph into what he was pretending to be into his actual state.
Yeah.
It was fascinating to me. I thought it was shot extremely well.
Yeah.
The actors were incredible. Like the actors at the bar, they're so natural, and like the
Oh yeah.
barkeeper, she was so horrifyingly disgusting, but in a very subtle way. Everything is super subtle. You're right about that. But yeah, it felt very David Lynch to me, which I loved, and it's just the exact type of movie that I'm thrilled that I've seen when I go to the movie theater, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
Okay. No, that's good. Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect much from it, to be honest. You know, after Headhunters, I
Why?
was like,
Because I
yes.
picked it.
No, because you picked the Headhunters, and this was supposed to be like you're unclearing up my name. But I
But I
like
knew
it.
nothing about Headhunters. This I had seen.
Okay, that's fair. Should we score, or do we have anything else to talk about?
No, I'm just looking at the director's IMDb page to see if he's directed anything else that I had seen.
I checked earlier. I don't know anything else from him,
No.
but this was a solid movie.
No.
Would you recommend this movie to someone else?
To the right person, yeah, I would recommend it to you, for instance.
But do you remember like most of the story since the last time that you watched it?
Nope.
Okay.
I remembered the actor. I remembered it was Copenhagen cop goes to a small town, and then dark stuff happens.
Okay.
But like, well, for instance, when he ended up killing the wife, I was like,
Yeah, I have to say that in that scene where he's killing her, when he's suffocating her with a pillow, I was like, no, is this where this movie's going? No. It was a bit, I mean, I love when a movie can actually surprise me in that kind of way. That is like, no, you are not going to be doing that. You are not going to be like killing that character now. It's a show I thought that I was like just hats off about like, okay, it's
well, he
properly
wasn't
written.
her, nonetheless.
Probably not anymore because he was trying to just silence her so the husband wouldn't hear her.
But I like the bait and switch where you're like, okay, at some point they're gonna fuck, but then when they fuck, he actually murders her, and you're like, oh,
I didn't see this
that
coming.
part.
Yep. I mean, I have to say that, for example, the scene that comes afterwards, that is Jorgen waking up in the stairs and just grabbing him, I felt like that's a bit cheap. But he doesn't
Yeah, you
remember
could say.
anything, It's like, what is the point of this? Is that just building suspense on the audience?
I think you just wonder like how much information is out there. Does he know? And it turns out he did know.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I felt like that's a bit cheap, for doing that. Well, at the end is that there was sure, but it's called frugal. Thank you very much. But then what you get at the end is actually the daughter is the one that saw everything and knows everything and doesn't share it. Or maybe she shared it to the council of evil people in town, and that's the reason
No,
why they
come on.
know.
She's super abused. She knows to leave the house when her mom's being beaten. I mean, those sorts of kids don't share things. And it's not exactly as if she had like a supportive community around her that would help her if she said, hey, my dad's beating my wife. I mean, of
I
course
know.
that kid's not going to say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the supporting community actually just puts her in a closet where they put people that they steal in the shop.
But they were protecting her from Jorgen, this
I
dangerous
know,
man.
I know, but I find it hilarious. Like, here is the place that you put like people that they are being abused by their parents and people that they steal in the shop. I had a feeling that you should differentiate a bit more here.
I like how when she says, "I saw you at the house," and he freaks out and goes into the closet and
Oh, yeah. Let's close. Let's close.
but
Let's
in
pretend that
America,
they
police aren't allowed to be in little closets with.
probably not, but this is Denmark. Would you watch more movies from this director?
Depending on the subject matter, it's like I liked this movie a lot, but if he did like a straight up comedy, for instance, I wouldn't watch that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling that this guy, at least in these movies, dancing, in this middle ground, that it could be pretty good, or it could be like a train wreck, or
Yeah,
like very like culturally located for Denmark that we wouldn't appreciate.
yeah, I would give him another chance.
All right, all right, just to keep in mind. So we score, or do we have more to talk about?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, so I think that I need to score first. So I'm going to be like giving to this at 7.5. For
Oh,
me,
really?
yeah, I mean, as I told you, that there are like some parts that I feel like they're crossing a line, but it doesn't tamper the value of the movie. I like it. I think that it's a good movie that I would recommend to people. But the reason why I don't give it more, and even like giving a 7.5, I feel like maybe this is a bit too high. I don't think that I will remember much of this movie in 6 months.
All right. It's not memorable,
Exactly that. Yeah.
but it was for me,
Was it for you?
for sure. I mean, so for me, I would score an 8. That's the number I had
Okay.
picked out.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
I think it was a very, very good film, but ultimately, I don't think it's like that important.
So it's good entertainment. It's quality entertainment.
Yes, and that's why I said it's like the White Ribbon without any importance attached. No, because the White
Oh,
Ribbon is like a very like there's gravitas there.
yeah.
This is like the same. Everybody's shitty with no gravitas, no political subtext.
But not everyone is city in the White Ribbon. Only the kids are city. And it's like basically the parents are like just kidnapped by the kids. They're just at the mercy of the kids.
I'm
That's what
sorry. I
makes it good.
remember like a dad hanging himself in front of his children.
Because he couldn't handle that. The guilt of actually just I mean the thing is like what Michael Haneke plays with the White Ribbon is that parents are going to be loving their kids over all things. And they're always going to try to justify them. You know? What about if your kid is evil? What about if all the kids in town are evil? How are you going to be like justifying that? You may actually get to a point that there is no justification for that, and the only way out is like I'm going to commit suicide. I mean, I found it like super fucking disturbing, but it's like I think that is exactly on the line of Michael Haneke. That is like, if you're a victim of a situation like that, there is no way out. It's like you're fucked as a parent. Is like, or you actually accept what your kids are doing and just try to look somewhere else, or you just commit suicide. What are you going to be like doing? Just kicking the kid out? Then the rest of the kids probably are going to be like just killing you.
Isn't that the real solution? You kick the kid out?
I don't think so. I don't think that there is resolution. There is only the conclusion about like is the kids,
Oh
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
just leave
No,
it
but I'm
there.
saying the parenting question. What do you do to an evil child? You kick them out of the home.
But I don't think that they do it.
No, not in the movie.
That may be your resolution, but as gay people, maybe we would never have to face that situation. I mean, would you kick out
Luckily,
Mariani?
thank God.
Would you kick out Mariana or Oscar?
If she like bit Oscar all the time and did terrible things, I would do something. She would not stay here. She's sick. I feel so bad.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing is like, as she is sick, you wouldn't have the heart for kicking her out. And it's the same thing with the parents, is that they wouldn't have the heart. to just keep the kids out.
But I only feel like I do towards Mariana because she's such a good dog. Mariana's my Chihuahua. I got a rescue Chihuahua after I visited a senior rescue after bottomless mimosas. It's not my proudest moment, but I love her.
So from that perspective, I think that White Ribbon is like an infinitely superior movie to this. Not infinitely, that's abusive, but I think that
It's
it's a
definitely a superior
significantly
movie, yeah,
superior to
absolutely.
this.
But
Yeah,
it's about a community bonded through horrific events.
sure, sure. And that part may actually be like just correlated to this one. But honestly, I think that this was a good movie. Especially I think that I'm a bit more permissive because Headhunters was so bad
Oh my
that I'm
God.
happy to see that this
You're allowed to
country
bring that up 4 more times and then you can never bring it
on
up
this
again.
episode, sure, because on the next one I'm still going to be
No,
like keeping
just do
up.
not.
In the next movie that I pick that is
I'm
not
going to dig
too
up the
good.
spreadsheet and find every shitty movie you had us watch.
You already use Celine Dion Ghost Body, um, I felt like
Well, that's my pick for us next time.
Celine Dion Ghost Body too.
Yes.
The revenge. uh, in any case, I think that it was happy. That it was like a good movie. So I was like pretty happy with that. About like this didn't feel like 2 hours of my life wasted.
And you're welcome. It was 91 minutes.
I think it was like 104 minutes. It was
I
1
thought it
hour
was
and 40
91 when I
minutes.
watched it. And you can watch this on Canopy for free
Yeah.
if you have a
So,
library card.
yeah.
So,
At least in the States. I don't know in other countries around the world because our
pretty sure our
audience is
5 listeners are
yeah,
here.
they're like so distributed. All right. Should we cut here? Do you have anything?
Yeah, unless you want to tell us what we're going to watch.
So, as you were telling me that we haven't chosen too many American films lately, I'm thinking about us watching Joseph Losey movie. I don't know how familiar you are with him, but I have the feeling that he's from Wisconsin actually, and he died in the United Kingdom. So he's originally American. I don't know if that will qualify all his movies. I'm trying to decide which movie because I only watched one of his movies and it was amazingly disturbing.
I
And
love
maybe
that.
and maybe we should watch that. That's The Servant. But the other one that I was thinking is that he actually did M remake, M from Fritz Lang. I don't know, you watched the original one?
I don't think so.
Yeah, the original one,
How do you spell his last name?
Losey, Losey. Joseph Losey. Losey? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So he did a remake, and I love the original one. So I don't know if that would be good or not, but probably what I would do is like just go with The Servant, that I know it, and I think that is a pretty memorable movie that I never recommend to people because I find it too disturbing. Not from a violent or gory or any kind of perspective, just from a psychological perspective. And then in a couple of weeks, maybe going with them from Fritz Lang, the original one, if you didn't watch it either.
All right. Well,
But let's see how this one goes.
let me know when you make a decision.
I will let you know. Well, dear 5 or less listeners around the globe, thank you so much for listening and see you next time.
Bye. Wash your hands.